So, I mean, this new one that you just, or the old one that you put in this one, I would imagine that's quite the shock to the system.
So the box will be fine. It'll be like the frame will be fine. It's inside the box. It's on the upper side of the box, so you have the heat coming out, and you have a whole frame of bees on the brood, and they regulate the temperature and stuff. And so a lot of times people will do this to draw bees up to the box. So like that's a trick for putting queen excluders on, because queen excluders are basically a fence that is only big enough or only allows worker bees to get through.
Okay.
Drones and queens can't fit through the fence, and in order to get worker bees to come up here and put honey and build wax and stuff, you know, they don't like the fence there, so they'll start waxing it up. But if you put a frame of brood up here, that'll draw them up, because their instinct is to go take care of the brood, and that'll pull them through. Once they get through, they start using everything, and they start building in around this.
Sure.
And then these bees will hatch out eventually, and then it'll turn into a honey frame. And I think that's why I went through a couple decisions. You know, do we want to move it out? It's one frame of bees. There wasn't a whole lot of brood on it. There was some getting laid in there from before, but they were starting to run out of space, so she was just packing them in wherever she could. The queen, there's no queen excluder on it now, so even if this frame had a queen on it, she can go back down or be up or whatever she wants to do, and then we can get rid of it easy. It'll just be in the next couple weeks. I'll come out here and I'll pull it out before the queen moves up to put brood in it.
Okay.
You know, I might check it next week maybe, just to see. The weekend doesn't look very bee-friendly weather, so they might not be very productive this weekend. But yeah, I'll come check on them, see how they're doing. If you guys are out here and you notice, and you'll see every once in a while you see like a big cloud of bees over one of the hives, and if you sit and you watch, you can see they'll come out and they'll do a little circle, and then they'll land, and then they'll continue to do that, but they'll make a bigger circle. And what they're doing is they're making concentric circles like a target, and then they're picking out landmarks around the hive, and that's how they find their way back home. And that's the nurse bees that are moving on to be foragers, so they're hitting the end of their 5, 6 week, 7 week lifespan, and then they spend the rest of their life collecting, and then they die. This kind of stuff you would just want to kind of clean up too. There's not a lot of bees on here, so it makes it easier. Probably something I should mention is that I'm dropping a lot of this on the ground. That's fine. You should probably clean it up when you're done, when you have all the bees buttoned up and stuff. You don't want to leave superfluous beehive parts on the ground, just because that attracts stuff like skunks and raccoons. And even though I have the hives off the ground, and they're very full, anything that would stick their hand in there would get zapped pretty good. We just don't need any critters in here, you know?
Take away the temptation.
Yep.
How does that allow for ventilation? Because I don't see any spacers or anything on there.
Okay.
How did you construct those?
So these are actually, I'm not a big fan of these inner covers.
Okay.
I got all of these hives where we purchased from another beekeeper friend of mine that is no longer a beekeeper. So for the 5 hives, at the time they had bees in them, and they were double deep, we paid $1,000. And that was it's easily for this setup basically that we bought from them, and it had 2 full deeps for this with the covers and stuff. That's easily $500 if you were to buy it from somebody. So at $250 a piece, or $200 a piece is what I think we paid for them. That's a bargain because just for the equipment,
Yeah.
you know. So he had all this. These inner covers are shimmed.
Okay, I see. He's got.
So there's
spaces
an
on them.
so
Okay.
there's an entrance right here.
Very good.
Me personally, I keep my entrances narrowed all year long. I reduce my entrances. They get, if I use the bottom one, they get about an inch. If I use the top one, they get about an inch. Or I have like a hole drilled in there.
Yeah.
But you know, they'll tell, you'll hear that reduces production because they can't get in and out of the hive very fast. That's bull crap, because I've taken bees out of the walls of houses,
Yeah.
and they're going through one opening that's this big,
Yeah,
and it's the whole wall of like a 12 by 20 room. The whole west facing wall is all comb all the way down through the studs. So you want to tell me that they can't be? That's bull crap. Plus, you don't have to worry about predators getting in there. They can defend it with a couple bees from stuff like wasps and mice and that kind of stuff. And it just saves you the hassle from having to remember, oh, let's take it out, let's put it in, let's, you know, what side. Just leave it closed the whole year and they'll be good.